From the edge of time beckons a destination, ancient, hidden, forgotten. This is Harbor Town. Harbor Town is an all-new series from Miniature Building Authority, the leader in tabletop gaming scenery. Unique, flexible, and playable, Harbor Town will take your games to a new destination.
Hi, welcome to the Miniature Building Authority. Hi. Hey, what's up, man? Good to see you, Brian. I know we're like we here a minute early here. I don't know where Mark is. Let me send him a quick text. He hasn't responded.
Because you said he's never late.
He's never late. He's never late. But hey, everyone else is on, and that's all that matters. It looks like even Jeremy's coming on, he says. So that's pretty funny. Walt's on. We got a whole crew. Well, Brian and I are going to roll with this. Thanks a lot, guys, for coming on. Hope you have a little fun on this campaign discussion. Mark and I we're going to talk with a little bit about crossing over crossing our lines like we always do, but don't cross the streams. But we can always hop on and do some stuff with. Brian's got some fun stuff going on, and why don't we just jump right in? And I'm going to swing right to the beginning here on, and we have a whole bunch of pictures. But let me. Well, I went right by it.
It's because you're so excited.
I am. I'm ecstatic, and so everyone knows Brian does a lot of Star Wars. But when was it? 2 weeks ago? You started. Oh, what are you drinking, man?
Double Magician from Shorts Brewing.
Okay.
It's a
it says he's in.
double London style red ale. I think it's around 7%. Because I can't do something like this without drinking a beer.
Yeah, absolutely. He says he's. I don't. Oh, there you are, Mark. All right, I got the wrong view up, man.
Way to go, dork.
I got to figure out how to do this.
Some things never change.
Why didn't you just say something, Mark?
I got to figure out how to do this, man. So you were quiet. Oh, man. See, with three of us now, it's going to look stupid like this. So here, let me change. I'm going to be on two pictures, it looks like. Because I want you guys to see the screen still.
Sure.
Give me 1 sec here. So
Sometimes you just have to make Jay sweat, Brian. That's all.
No, because if I change that, then you guys can't see it. Hold on. Speaker view like that. Gallery view like that.
Do the speaker view, because who's ever talking will pull up in the second picture. Right there. Boom.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, but see, Mark, try talking. Will you pop back up?
Yeah, I should be able to pop back
Oh,
up.
okay. So you guys are going to go back and forth. Is that all right? Instead of being on the whole time?
It's fine. I can pick my nose in and nobody.
Oh,
Yeah,
man.
that works for me.
Okay.
I mean, here's the thing: we can still see each other up top, so we're all
All
know
right.
who's picking
Okay.
who's
Yeah.
no.
All right. As long as that works for you guys. I mean, I try and have everyone on at the same time, and since we got on a little late, I can't edit it around that picture. So, but as long as that works, as long as everyone knows that
It's
you
not
guys.
a big deal, Jay.
All right. Well, you know. Oh, so I didn't even do that. So Jeff's hit us up. So thanks, Jeff. I didn't even do any of my maintenance. So we're gonna start with Brian now that Mark's on. But here's some things
You
going on.
start with
real
Mark's
quick.
stuff. Come on.
Start with Mark's stuff. That sounds
Start
good.
with Mark's stuff.
Fine.
Mark. So what do you think about what's been going on with your adventure, Siege of Borden's Watch, which we thought was going to... Oops, gosh, I go by everything. We thought it was going to be a finale last week, but it's not. So what do you think? What do you think about what has been going on in your game, and what do you think? What are you doing next, too? So let me ask you those two questions. With the finale coming up, how do you think it's going with this adventure? Some highlights, and what do you think you're going to do with the next one to tie it into the whole campaign?
Okay. So effectively, overall, I think that the adventure has gone really, really well. There's been a good balance, in my opinion, of role play as well as just core D&D style of fighting. So yes, it has been a little tedious from time to time, but some of that is also kind of attributed to the landscape of what it is that they're going in. So for those of you that didn't see and didn't watch our stream, the actual layout of what it is that they were going through in the past couple weeks was basically a cliff that had a set of stairs that went to different landings. Well, the stairs were roughly about 5 to 10 feet wide, so sometimes you could only go single file.
Okay.
And then there were things that were in the air at the bottom of the cavern as well. And so there was a lot of battles where people were just kind of delaying and couldn't really get involved.
Yep.
So, it helps kind of build strategy and build continuity between all the different players about what it is that you're trying to do. The adventure itself, I really like how it's laid itself out. We were also able to take a character and through some real core role play, we were able to take it from being just a normal dwarven fighter to being a dwarven shield thing. In our campaign, a shield thing, if you think of it, is
I loved it.
Like maybe 5 years would consider like a dwarven paladin, but ours is a little bit different. So the concept of the shield thing is to utilize a shield as a weapon in addition to his regular weapon. It was something that I had been planning for quite a while. The character had been being played that way, and the player was really, really getting interested in what the capabilities of what a shield thing could do. And so I came up with an idea about how he would, since he was going to be in the a temple of Clangeddon, which was his deity. I set up the entire, since the campaign was really based upon a dwarven city, I set up the entire adventure really kind of surrounding that. It gave me the opportunity to really incorporate as well some of the campaign characters that we have in Jay's and my campaign that we play on Thursday nights, most notably a character known as Schlemmenmeal, who is one of the most renowned dwarves in our campaign. And then just to kind of tie it in together as well, is to lead that character down a path of greatness. There were all sorts of dwarven statues, and there was one that just had a pedestal that just had his name on the bottom, but the statue hadn't been created at that time. So there's a lot of intrigue that's in it. There's a lot of intrigue that's actually left in it, too. They got through one of the main battles and were able to rescue another dwarven shield thing, and are in their path right now. They're in the last leg of the actual adventure, trying to close off one additional tunnel that goes under the mountains where all these orcs have been infiltrated. So overall, like I said, I really like it, how it's actually running. It's been a little bit obviously more difficult for me because this was actually a 4E adventure that I had to set up specifically for 1E, 2E. That's not always the easiest thing to do. It's a little bit easier, I think, to go from 1E, 2E to 4 and or 5.
Well, two things. I didn't know that the other guy was a shield thing that we rescued, the other dwarf.
Yes.
Did not know. I was bouncing around, and I loved how you converted him from a fighter to a shield thing. I thought that was really cool. I loved how you threw the Schlemmenmeal statue in there.
Yeah.
And that was awesome, too. So, Brian, how about converting from 4E back to an old school? Would you even do 4E to 5E now?
No, 4E I don't mess with. I did a little bit of 4E when I first started getting D&D because it's all that was offered.
Yeah.
But it's a little bit too gamey, for me. They try to. That was when they tried to reach out to the whole video game culture. At least the standard thoughts behind it. So I have not taken a 4E and converted it to a 5E.
Okay.
I have started looking at your guys' modules and trying to do some conversion stuff there. Drive Through RPG has, or DM's Guild has some, it's called like classics, modern classics or something like that. I forget the exact naming, but they have a somebody who did the conversion already.
Right.
I don't know how well that is, and how those people feel about the balancing and that kind of stuff there. So I might purchase one of those just to see how that compares to what my thoughts on conversion are. Because if I don't have to do the legwork on a conversion, I'm not gonna. Conversion's a pain in the ass.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I'm not a fan of it, but that's why 95% of my stuff's homebrew now. This follower is for you, Brian, and you're gonna laugh your ass off. Gunther. You touched my tra-la-la. Do you remember I fell with the Gunther guy back when we were playing the WoW? Oh,
no.
You touched my tra-la-la. Oh, man.
Oh, I don't remember. I'm sorry.
He would always play the Gunther music all the time. Don't remember that gosh. one. I'm getting old, man. I'm getting old with stuff. So, I think I've done 1 or 2 4Es back to 1E. That were like from older versions of like the dungeon, later versions of the dungeon, and yes, my gosh, Jeremy, you touched my tra la la, oh my ding ding dong, and he sings that song. I mean, maybe he was doing that after WoW, and I'm getting them all confused. He was doing it at our D&D games, but he would play the Gunther music over and over and over. It's a Swedish rock guy.
I know the song.
Oh my gosh, okay.
I understand where it's coming from, but I don't remember that at all.
Good to see you, Jeremy. So, good to see you on, man. I appreciate that. So, all right. So, Mark, what are you running next?
Okay, so I've been really intrigued, like I said, with the last 2 adventures that I've run. they're actually from a campaign setting and set of adventures, which are called the Scales of War. The next one in the actual series that really incorporates where they're at and Overlook is called the Shadow Rift of Umberforge. So essentially what it has is another part to the actual story, which ultimately ties a lot of the humanoid issues that we have going on.
Shadow Rift of Umberforge.
Yes.
Okay.
And it really ties in what we're planning on doing crossover-wise with both of our groups, as far as a lot of the humanoid issues that are going on. Obviously, we can't divulge any of that type of stuff.
Right.
Happening behind the scenes, but ultimately, like the byline from this, if you think it is, from the actual adventure, we're mercenaries, all of us, but only a precious few have honesty enough to admit it. Whether we sell ourselves for coin, for honor, or ideals, we all have a price whose continued payment leads us inevitably to our end. But when that end comes, will you admit to your balance sheet? Or will you lie when you claim that the blood on your hands was spilled for just cause, not simply for hunger or for glory?
Now, does that finish the series up, or does it continue after that?
No. Actually, you could theoretically take this. There is a series of probably close to 15 different adventures that you could actually take them through, if you wanted to. Now, obviously, a lot of the things that we're going to do from a kind of a crossover setting, some of these things I want to introduce more in this actual adventure. And then also to do so, probably some homegrown stuff as well. Most of the stuff that I've just been doing has not been homegrown just because of either time or just because these series, in my opinion, have been absolutely fantastic. Actually, I've converted an awful lot of these and interjected things that aren't part of it, just to make sure that it actually fits. But anybody who wants to check them out, please do so. Like I said, the campaign setting is just called Scales of War. There are all sorts of different things like Drive-Thru RPG and other mediums that you can go to, other websites you can go to actually get it.
Actually, it looks like Wizards still hosts the free, the module for free.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah, it looks like the Shadow Rift of Umberforge, September 2018.
Jeff, you're not checking it out. Jeff,
At
you're
least
playing.
it looks to be a pretty full, fleshed out module there.
So
that's okay. He can go ahead and check it out. He already knows the pain when you do that.
6 arms Sahagrin Prince. Oh, damn! Oh well, sorry, Brian. None of your guys are watching, so you'll see why I shouldn't have said that. But
so wait, Mark, how do you take? Because 5e, from what I recall, you had some absurdly high saves and checks and whatnot because there was that inflation where you'd get a DC 30 on some of these things to pass the check. How do you? Because that's such a big swing going back to a classic system.
Saves.
Yep. So a lot of it really has to do with the types of creatures it is that you're dealing with. So in our world, because we actually set up things like specialization in certain feats, it's not so hard to really backload it to what it is that we actually do. So in 4E and 5e, your creatures were more like certain levels, so to speak, and essentially they're dealing with special truths in this manner. So it's not really as hard as you think. A lot of it is really being able to line up what the actual hit dice and so forth are to 1E as compared to what they have in...
Making sure your threat level carries forward, yeah.
Correct. And certain things, I mean, granted, some of them are insanely tough, okay? And because I'm also dealing with a new group, there's some ad-lib that kind of goes into it too. So if they're really hurting bad, you can adjust kind of the threat level a little bit as to what it is that you want to do.
Cool. I don't know what, like when I see those DCs 30, whatever, I'm thinking to myself, I don't know what the scale is on them. So I always assume that for us, it's a minus on the save, like a -1,
Yeah.
-2, or whatever, off of their saving throws, because it's completely, we're still in that 20 base system with 1E, 2E, and I'm doing my best guess,
Yeah.
Because you can go up to an infinite amount, I guess, in theory, on that, but that's cool. That's cool.
Well, and some of it I will also add. I don't take everything that they actually give and convert it down. Some of it I just add as ad lib into it. Some of it is like we had a situation in Rescue at Rivenroar where there's an area that has a demon, and for the level of characters that there were, the demon would have ended up slaughtering them all.
Oh, you mean the one that was behind the walls? And it's like bouncing.
Yeah. Technically, in the adventure, it's behind the wall, but there was a way of actually getting it released.
Oh my gosh.
Okay. Well, since the wall was invisible, I figured I'd kind of do a little bit of that 5e-ish kind of mindset where you roll for any kind of ability check it is that you need to do. And so as each character came in like different groups, as they went forward, they didn't get to see the demons, like the wall that the demon was behind, because it was completely clear. So I just basically had to make a constitution check to see if they were going to crap their pants, essentially. And it ended up being such a funny thing because the one paladin that's in the group is the only one that failed to save.
Yeah.
So it's become a thing for our actual group in the role-playing aspect to talk about it. And that's what it really is. It's just really about having fun.
Absolutely. Here comes my question to you next. What, as far as linking in with the main campaign, and we'll talk about what Brian's about to undergo in a month or two as well shortly here. What do you think? Like, should I continue on the way of Candace? Should I interact with someone else? What do you think?
So I'm thinking that prior to the next adventure, we'll probably reintroduce what's her name? Candace's mentor.
Bladestorm.
Bladestorm.
Oh. Okay. Oh.
Because remember, they still owe Bladestorm a favor.
Yes, they do.
As well, and I think this is where we're going to kind of cash in on what that actual favor is.
Okay, cool.
And to me, Bladestorm is kind of the ambassador behind all of this. She is the common link between everything it is that we're actually doing.
She wants to say hi.
She can. Hello. Hi. She can say hi.
See, there you are. Go play. Your tablet's not going to load up? All right, well, Daddy will take a look at it. Sorry, guys.
That's all right.
Oh, no problem.
Go ahead.
Yeah. So at any rate, I want to use Bladestorm as the liaison between the two different groups, because she obviously has contacts with our main groups as well. So and kind of build that story and that storyline into it. And actually, the pieces that I'm going to be interjecting in when we do our charity stream on March 23rd, there'll actually be a couple of pointers to that as well.
Okay, good. And then that one, you're going to do a whole new group of characters, right? Correct. They're going to start making up new first, and they're going to base them. You're going to base them in the Shieldlands.
That is correct.
Awesome. We'll talk about that at the end. We had our introduction of that at the beginning, and that's the excitement starting to build up. And I was watching the Greyhawk channel after that awful Super Bowl last night, and Shane actually, in this library they were in, they found a book that talked about the construction of orbs.
Oh, nice.
So I'm hoping that was a good foreshadowing moment, and we'll see on that. So, because we still haven't touched base, in its finality with him on stuff like that. So, Brian, as far as adding you to the mix here a little bit. We're not talking about streaming, but we're talking about in the world of Greyhawk. So before I realized Mark was actually on, we were talking about that you wanted to know, you're going from your Star Wars campaign back to a D&D campaign. Now it's 5e, which is great. You know, earmuffs. What's earmuffs? I mean, I don't know what Jeff means by earmuffs.
He's probably saying he doesn't want to hear it all.
Oh, okay. To a 5e campaign, but Brian asked what the difference between Forgotten Realms and Greyhawk was, and I said, "No, you're okay now, Jeff. You're clear. You're clear." Well,
if you've got earmuffs, does it help if you type it?
Yeah, absolutely. 5e, you know, there's a ton of 5e DMs out there, and Brian's one of them. That's great. It doesn't matter. Not everyone has to be old school when we're running Greyhawk. Absolutely not. And
don't gotta make it sound like I have a disease.
You don't have it. Yeah, well, you and Naz. You know, Naz thinks that we bust stones on 5e all the time. Just like Bill yelling at you guys in the chat the other week. He's like, no, I don't want to hear any more about 5e. That was really funny. He was really miserable.
You got to respect all of it. Come on. Even the 4e. There's some pieces I took from 4e that I do like. So.
Well, that's good. I mean, and that's what we did. We took a lot of 3 and 3.5, the feat system. We incorporated that back into our proficiencies. So.
Yep.
Brian gets on, and you want to tell a little bit, man? You're like, what's the difference? And then I kind of jumped on you, so.
Yeah, no, so Jay, like a knucklehead, he thought I was asking which campaign setting should I run. So I asked him what the difference was between Forgotten Realms and Greyhawk, because to me, it's a fantasy setting. It's just taking one fantasy setting and switching it to the lore and background of another fantasy setting. You know, there's still, to me, not a huge difference. Don't hate me on that, but it's, you know, it's, I think the big thing to me is not having those, you know, your power guys running around all over the place. You know, Forgotten Realms, you can't step 10 feet without, like, any module describing, oh, this is Super Power Man 5000, and, you know, he's going to be here to save the day when you guys get to the final boss.
It is ridiculous. I mean, you know, Drizzt's everywhere and the Harpers are everywhere, but that's
Drizzt?
Yeah, Drizzt's everywhere in Forgotten Realms.
Not Drizzt?
Drizzt.
Yeah. What's the difference?
The pronunciation?
Like yas or ayas.
Oh my gosh, yeah, we go back and forth on that like crazy all the time. And wait till Brian Blumkotz comes on Sunday night and he's correcting all of ours because you know we were so sheltered with it. But I'll say that I had a blast when it came to, you know, just running, you know, old school stuff, and we didn't know how to pronounce anything. So, and if we're wrong on things, so be it. If we pronounce things, I apologize ahead of time.
I always tell people at the table whenever I'm going to pronounce something, it's like, this is how I'm pronouncing it. I don't care because it's a freaking fantasy language or a fantasy made-up name. So this is how it is.
Cool.
If I found out later the proper pronunciation, I do try to go with that, but most of it I don't care.
So what did you tell us the story, man? So on you know what we did and then what you're doing now. It's really cool, and I'll go to some of the pictures on there once you get to that point.
So my group has been long time 5e. We got kind of sick of all the 5e material was save the world, save the world, save the world. So we said, we're going to take a break, go to Star Wars, Edge of the Empire, which we're having an absolute blast with. And I love that system. I even tried dabbling. They have this Fantasy Flight Games has the same system, but in a generic fantasy setting. It's called Realms of Terranoth, I think it is. And I didn't like it. For some reason, it works out really well for Star Wars. But when you get into like magic systems and that kind of stuff, it's not as well defined. It's a story game more than a combat game. So trying to define that with like a fantasy setting, it just didn't work out as well. So unbeknownst to my players, -1 who I'm kind of having being the beta tester of what Jay's gonna be flipping through here. I have decided, everybody knew we're going back to D&D. It was just a matter of what version of what we're doing. We're going back to Forgotten Realms. Where we're going to go dabble back in the Adventures in Middle-earth conversion, which is a fantastic conversion if you haven't played it. If you're interested in like Lord of the Rings, Hobbit type stuff, Adventures in Middle-earth is fantastic. And even if you're not a fan of that stuff, the travel rules in that are really well done. So I'm going to be taking the travel rules from that, as well as the introductions to high power people, taking that from that and bringing it back into my 5e game. I say 5e. Adventures in Middle Earth is 5e as well.
Okay, didn't know that.
Yeah, it's the updated version of the One Ring. That was the 3.3.5 version. That's updated. That really good though. It's a solid conversion. Really worth checking out if people are interested in that kind of stuff. My table's not a big fan of that though, because they like to be Shades of Grey people, and in that it kind of takes it as you're going to be the goody two shoes guy, not the goody two shoes, but everybody's kind of morally standing, versus being your Shades of Grey people, which is why they really like Edge of the Empire. Anyway, so I made the decision that we're going to go make Jay happy.
It's all about me.
What's that?
It's all about me, like it always is.
Of course.
Well, no, it was just a matter of, just not having to deal with the power folks. And I feel like a lot of folks at my table know a solid bit of information about Forgotten Realms. So if I say, oh, you're here, they're going to start looking for those prime nuggets of, culture that's out there from the books and that kind of stuff. And I want to get away from that. So while I could just transpose them to someplace Forgotten Realms, there's that big segregation of no. So I think just taking it out of there, along with not having those power people there, it's going to make it a little bit easier on me.
So you got a new experience coming basically for them, and that's fantastic. You got a new place to go, and so I said, and we were on prepping. Jeremy was on too. It was Jeremy and Brian and Anna came on and helped me prep Zoom up for the big DM roundtable, and we were talking, and I said, "Well, what are you going to run?" And I said, "I got an idea. I got 2 sets of modules that I think you could bounce in between them, the level base." And then I misspoke on the level, but it really gets you up to 5th or 6th. So the first, I gave you got Saltmarsh, right? U1 is a great start. What do you think, Mark?
Oh, absolutely. U1 is one of the best ones, honestly, to get into the mix.
But the funny thing he was saying was, well, there's this whole town of Saltmarsh and it's barely developed. And I said, well, that's the way old school modules were done. Which is fine,
but I'm used to getting, buying a module, and then you have the first 30 pages are all about setting and that kind of stuff. Right. That's fine. I can do the extra legwork. But it's interesting to doing my research. The Saltmarsh kind of was described as a small town in U1, but when you look at where things stand currently in the current timeline, it's a pretty big town. It's almost 4,000 people. 4,000.
And I think it's just because in the future, it may have expanded. But here's the cool thing, and this is where
not that you can't easily adapt.
Right. But Brian's setting works perfectly for the following. So you're going to go U1, and then when he gets that done, of course I got him out of order here because I'm stupid. Again, hold on, let me go through. And then next, follow it up, and this is going to be on Lender Isle. Follow it up with L1, which is 2 through 4, and put Resternford somewhere near Saltmarsh, up the river or something, right? And then do either it depends on his order how we do. Then do L2, right? Or in order U2, right? And that's great. And then finish it up.
I can't say for sure that's the route I'm taking, right, but it's the suggested route that you guys said. No, I'm at least starting with U1. Let's say that. How about that?
I hate old school modules.
No, it has nothing to do with that. It's just I got to see where my players find interest in.
Your wife's on camera in the background. That's awesome.
Oh,
you're on Twitch now.
You're on Twitch now, sweetheart. Isn't she beautiful?
Hello.
And look, the viewership doubled. No, just kidding. All right, so another thing that Brian has done that really is cool. And Mark and I haven't used it. Mark uses RealmWorks instead to do some stuff like this. But there's a site, what's it called? Obsidian Portal?
Yep, Obsidian Portal. So we use it for Star Wars. And when we used it for Star Wars, I really like some of the things that we can do in it. And so I'm using it for the Greyhawk thing. I'm not doing the form like we have in Star Wars because we have like downtime role play and like sessions discussion type stuff in the Star Wars one, and not a lot of people used it, and it wasn't really worth my time. So I'm not worrying about that so much. But the main thing is I want this nice wiki focused on the things that I think the characters need to know about. When you go out and you research it, you can easily become overwhelmed, just as I did. Coming from somebody brand new to Greyhawk to researching to what I actually care about, like what the hell is Felness? I still can't pronounce it right. Flanus?
Flanace. F-L-A-N, the Flanace, the area of the continent. That's all right.
Yeah, so what's Flanace compared to, Greyhawk? Why the hell is it even called Greyhawk when there's, it's really just a city? I'm not even in that area. There's all this kind of stuff that I gotta kind of research, and if I can take that out of the player's hands and just say, here's the information you care about, without getting a whole bunch of, spiraling out of control research-wise, great. So,
which is what you've done, and so here's the map. This, of course, is Anna's map cut southern Keelan. Salt Marsh is right on there. Right below that is the Sea Princes and Mark. This is the whole marshes area.
Oh yeah.
This is Dreadwood. It's perfect. I mean, it's a great area, and it's out of the way. It's tucked out of the way. So if he does anything, and I ever want to hop in or have some of his characters do something with us, it doesn't affect you know what I mean? It doesn't affect any of the other stories, so he can run with it here, and if we ever want to do something crossover between us, there won't be a problem. Which is cool. But then, he's done this. He's put this into it, and here's a whole history on the Kingdom of Keelan, a wiki that you probably
now don't make it sound like I actually did this. What I did was I went out to the Greyhawk Online wiki,
right,
copied everything, and then paired out the things I don't think my players need to know about.
Right.
Either things that didn't fit timeline type situations I didn't want to get into. But yeah, I kind of pared it down.
But it's a fantastic use of why Greyhawk Online and why all the wikis there, so that you cut it and you utilize it in the campaign for your purposes, and that's why all these guys that are working on it, like Brian and Icarus and Grodog and Carlos Leasing and everyone else is working on this so hard is for that purpose, to keep the world going. So I mean, it's a fantastic use of the reference material. So,
and I got some guys that are really hard on for the lore stuff, which is, like I said, part of the reason why we had such issues with Forgotten Realms, because they know so much of it, and then taking it out, they're like, oh.
Right.
And so, Brian, let me ask you: do you have anybody that is in your group that actually has played in Greyhawk before? Or knows
I would imagine. I got Don and Aaron. I would imagine have done some Greyhawk. Tim as well has probably done some Greyhawk. Tim's in his mid-50s, I think. Aaron's in his mid-40s, and Don's in his early 40s. I think they're all long-time gamers, and I think they've done Greyhawk at some point.
Can you, Brian, when you get a chance, type in the email address of your site?
The email address? You mean the
web
address?
The website, website address, so people can look at it, and if they want to get an idea, because you can go through the wiki. There you go. So you guys want to take a look
the
at
URL is going to change when I actually launch it. So. Like I said, this is a very base layer situation. Mm-hmm. It's not finished by any means. I'm just fleshing things out. But the website is actually, the URL is going to change when I launch. It's not going to be Greyhawk 21. It'll be more along the lines of what I'm calling it for our adventuring group.
Right. Right. But
then, Brian, what intrigues you the most about Greyhawk itself? What did you find that was, besides Jay?
And the Winchester.
In your actual storyline, what do you see crossing over into canon that makes a difference?
So I haven't delved too much in the actual storyline right now. Right now, I've been going through researching the atmospheres of. So what I did first off is I took the what the hell's Earth, and then going down, scoping it down. I just finished up the region section, so I went over Vice County of Salamore. So I got that information defined. I haven't taken a look at the story aspects that came into play so far. So I can't answer that yet. We aren't going back to 5e until May or June, so I have plenty of time to flesh that out and get an understanding. But I can't really answer that at the moment.
Okay. You know at least at what point in the timeline?
To keep things simple, I am going with
591.
yeah, 591 or 94, whatever it is, somewhere.
Post wars, post from the ashes.
Post
Yeah.
Greyhawk, yeah.
I mean, that's when everyone usually starts, which is fine, and it won't. like I said,
Without that, you get into a lot of, when I was reading the lore, you got to pair out a lot of stuff, and I'm not, because I don't know what's, the impact of everything, and if I take out this event, what does it do?
Right.
I may have chopped that information from the players, because I don't think they're going to care about it.
Right.
As a greater, as at least at a starting point, maybe when we get a little bit more fleshed out, I might do, drop some information on them. But yeah, this is. I don't want to get into messing around with chopping more and that kind of stuff because I don't know a whole lot.
Sure. Well, and that's the beauty of the entire thing, is that, I mean, even like in real life, you can be as cloistered and secluded as you want. I mean, if you don't want to know what's going on in the rest of the world, you don't need to.
Yeah, there
All
was.
you expand on is just your little town.
There was 2 areas that I debated on doing. I'll tell you what the other one was. But Salamore won out because, not so much because of the Salt Marsh, and the easy tie-in with that, it was the fact of having a really accessible area for water. What was the other area I was looking at?
What you looking?
Cat, Bramblewood Forest area.
Yeah.
That was the other area that really interested me because you had the forest, you had the kind of wastelandy and desert all right there, along with some easy access to mountains. But like I said, there wasn't a lot of water.
So Mark, I want you to hear what he's done because his area is a little more low magic than ours. So explain what you're doing with the priests, what's up here, okay? And because he's not using specialty priests, he's using the priests out of 5e. So
the thing that Mark might know, priests in 5e, you do have kind of a specialty there.
Yes.
So don't say we're not using specialty priests. We're just using out of the box priest stuff, which does have, I think, 10 different subspecialties in it. So there are a priest is not a priest is not a priest. Claire, let's be honest here. What Jay's showing right here, this shall be a fantastic heading. It's in the deities of Greyhawk section. I break down the deities that are available to players. There's some more I got to add there. There's some more I got to flesh out. But I tried to. There's a little alignment chart there. The green circles are if you're this alignment, this god's going to go pretty well for you. If you're yellow, it's going to be this one. If you're red, you can do this god, but I really want like a talk with us. What's the reasoning why you're the complete opposite alignment of this guy? Because I don't want restriction due to alignment, but I want people to give. I'm not a big alignment guy. I'm thinking for me, alignment is it's fluid. It's ever changing. You start off as this, but your actions are going to cause you to do this, that, and the other thing. It's going to change. But I at least want like a good starting point for folks to give some thought of how their character's going to act. I'm going to guess most people are going to be chaotic neutral or neutral.
oh my gosh.
No, I told you, my table's shades of gray all the way.
Yeah. No, that's really cool. I like that idea. I mean, because if you really do think about it, morality is based upon, even in real life, to a degree, it's based upon your perception. Is that, effectively you can take, like, let's just say the Crusades as an example, and they thought that they were doing God's work by going in and killing off what they considered heathens. And they would consider in D&D terms that would be lawful good, but it's really not. I mean, it's genocide, if you think of it.
Yeah. So one of the other reasons why I'm trying to not force the alignment issue, but bring it into perspective is what I plan on doing based on the deity that you pick, you will get a minor once a day power. So I forget who's the god of savagery?
Eruthnal.
Yeah.
Okay. With him, what he's going to do is once a day when you land a hit, you can add 1 damage, and then Mark, you're familiar with proficiency bonus a little bit.
Oh, yes. Yes.
So there's 5 different tiers of proficiency bonus.
Yep.
And you go up a tier in proficiency bonus, that goes to a +2 to damage, or +3. It's not major, it's a once a day thing. But it's something to give you a little benefit of why you chose this god. On top of that, I'm also going to do a small drawback when you chose a god. Not saying everybody has to choose a god, but if you are a paladin, a cleric, or a druid, you have to have a god. It's going to be the rules.
That's good. We couldn't do that. There'd be too much. honestly. And there'd be so much abuse around it, so we would never get anything accomplished.
So
I have quite a few of them sculpted out. They're not on the webpage there yet. It'll be embedded below with the information and saying, hey, if you worship this god, you get this little benefit, but you also get this little drawback. Like, some of them, the drawback isn't going to be anything mechanical. The drawbacks aren't ever anything mechanical.
right.
But it's like Cord, if somebody challenges you to some sort of physical activity competition, if you don't want to do that, you have to pass a wisdom check to actually deny it before you get, your conscience takes over. I need to do this to please my God.
I would say that the closest thing that we have to that is, and Jay and I use it, I think, a little bit differently, is there's an item that we actually incorporated in our campaign, which is the classic Magic 8-Ball. That, basically, based upon the question it is that you ask and the answer it is that you actually roll for, you get, pluses and minuses for a period of time.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Salem's had his since, I don't know, 15 to 20 years of real time. Yeah. But I just there's a lot of fate inducers. I mean, the 8-Ball's minor compared to stupid decks and many things and stuff, which really can imbalance a campaign. Yeah. So I know you're on a hard stop at 8, so I'm going to shift back to Mark, so that when Mark goes, I know Brian can maybe hang out for another 10 minutes beyond or whatever. So, is that all right, Brian? I'm just gonna, because I know he's got.
That's fine. I'll probably grab another beer here.
All right. Yes. All right. So well, make your look. What's she doing on there? Is she doing something on the?
She's doing something. But go back to Mark.
Okay. So
she's talking to her newly found brother. I'm not sure if you heard that story.
Cool.
I'll tell you over the weekend.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, he knows.
Yeah. I heard about it. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So Mark, now that we have Brian, who we have the possibilities are endless now, as far as Brian's not streaming, and that's okay. I mean, only the whack jobs like us are the ones that are streaming stuff.
I did tell you, my guys did agree.
Yes, they did.
Charity, they're willing to stream.
Yes, so the next time we ever do one, Brian and his crew will join us. After this one we're doing in March, we do one 6 months from now, or whenever, Brian's crew will join us on the next mega stream, charity stream event down the road. Sound good, Mark? That's an awesome.
Yeah, absolutely.
Hey, there's Anna too. Hi, Anna. All right, so getting back to Mark here. Okay, so I'm bringing Bladestorm back into your group. That's cool. And in the mega stream, we're gonna have Shieldlanders. And they're all gonna be first level, which is really gonna be kind of spooky when it comes up on the mega stream, that they're gonna be all low level, and they're basically gonna be pawns that are being utilized, I guess, in yours, and you're into that, and that'll be really neat. Anyone sees the big green orb in the middle of the screen, guys? That's the orb of. That's one of the orbs of Dragonkind for our mega stream, and that's going to be a really cool event down in March 23rd. So looking forward to that. But as far as your next adventure that you're going to be running, I mean, am I sticking? You want me to stick with the same NPC, or I know you want to bring Bladestorm for interaction purposes, but obviously you don't want to use her on the adventure.
Yeah,
so,
I mean, my thought behind it is that. I mean, Candace is with the group. That's who you and they are both comfortable with. If you want to actually have an additional one that you want to be able to take and switch out, I'm perfectly fine with that. That's up to you.
I don't know. We'll see. I mean, she's a good backup character. She's not a main fighter. She's okay with a bow. And I've been trying to stay out of the discussion a lot. Let them run with it. It's their game. I'm just there as an
you bring a good oversight to the game to kind of help push things along a little bit, so that I don't have to have as much NPC interaction and so forth. So, but
yeah, Anna, you want to check that out too. You want to check that out because it's he's got a lot of your maps up on a lot of stuff. So. Getting to next, Mark, what we're doing, and now you see some picks up now. This is all right. So Winchester's Bulwark, it killed me, but I had to take it down for the time being because we need the room. The low levels have been successful in their mission. They've done each group has done 3 sets of missions, and it's going. Here's Winchester's Bulwark. It's been going very well. The low level characters are moving up. And this was rescue at Salty Bogs. They found the body of the of the Guardian. They took him back. They got him raised. We fudged the die roll. It was successful. And then they dealt with the menace there. And this is some of that adventure. Yes. Sometimes you have to cheat in order to move the storyline forward. Ian will tell you that.
The old saying goes, win if you can, lose if you can't.
Anna will tell you that. Everyone will tell you that. Sometimes cheating is just a necessity. So, definitely. But when this adventure ended, the Reborn came, which was a higher level. And this was a nasty fight, by the way. Very nasty fight. The wall got fixed. That's up. Now you can see the wall. After the wall got fixed, I took the whole thing down for the time being. So the wall finally got fixed at Winchester's Bulwark, and we also finished up that low-level adventuring set. And now what we're doing is a high-level group's coming in. There's the final picture of that. And our new map's coming up, and what they're going to do next is they're going to go back across to the river, and they're going to go to a site that is on Anna's map for us, and it's the battle site, the old battle site of the decapitated Dwarf Prince. So we're going back there, and there it is. That and now we'll roll in the pictures here. So I already have it up on the board. It's ready to go. The Reborn's going to go there, and the idea for this mission, Mark, for us is to see what is going on with. Are the troops reforming here? Because this was their launch point previously, so we want to find out and take the high level characters into this area. Thanks, Sam. Oh yeah. Oh, and thanks a lot. Yeah, he's got some great stuff. Brian does really good work.
Yes, he does. He does fantastic
stuff. And when Mark has to jump off, I'm going to go back to it and show you some more of the stuff that he's programmed in there. So this map was actually easily to redo because I had it in a normal spring scene going back. I think it was up in like August, so I just copied it over into a winter scene. And hey man, thanks Ian. Yep, that's gonna be for Thursday night. So this one's gonna be called Back to the Battle Site. Like I said, Anna has placed this on her map. She did it for us last year, and this battle's it's going to be shown right on the map on hers, and they got to go here and they got to find out what's going on with the original troops or who's running the troops, what's going on back there. So tying this in with what's going on at Winchester's Bulwark, Mark, you're 50-50, I know, for being there on Thursday. You got a personal thing, but we are looking forward to running this and tying this. Once again, this is all a tie-in into what's going on in our campaign overall for the Knights of Ulek. Tie this in with what's going on Sunday, and that's where I wanted to discuss with Mark real quick. We're going to have Brian Blumklotz on Sunday, our special guest, and he's going to talk about the shield you see right in the middle that he created for us. This is the new Order of Ulek symbol. This is the main symbol. This is the tip of the iceberg, and he's done a whole bunch of other heraldry for us, and he's working on some other specialty things, and we'll discuss them on Sunday night. Trying to tie in this whole thing into our campaign to make it, give it our legitimacy and be able to now put these symbols onto Anna's maps where each one of these goes. It'll just give much more flavor into our campaign. So, real quick, Mark, what do you think of that group, the Reborn? Because you got 2 Dark Elves in that one.
Yeah, so that's actually one of my favorite groups to play. It has kind of a nice balance for me because it's characters that.
Yeah.
So as Jay indicated, they're both Drow. It's a brother and sister combination.
Mm-hmm.
So they fight together back to back an awful lot and really enhance each other's abilities. Actually, the last time that we played, there was maybe it was a time before. At any rate, there was a spell that she actually cast. She's a specialty priest, a Soul North Elendra, who is, if you think of it, as almost like a ranger deity. But they are specialized, so to speak, with bow. They do really well with it. So a lot of their actual spells that they cast are about inflicting damage with arrows, or being able to cluster arrows together.
Perrin is too. So in the low-level
Yes.
group, there's another one, and you may meet him in role-playing, because we're going to have this is the thing, guys. We're going to have a first level with a high level. We're going to have 8th and 9th, intermingling with first and seconds. Go ahead, Mark.
Yeah. And so they both actually have some of the ability to do like missile multiplication. And, you know, being able to protect each other in that fashion. They both follow the same deity in Solinor, but Melzar, in typical fashion, I always have a character that everybody hates.
No.
Yeah, you know. When somebody told me today, it's not that people hate me, it's just that people don't like me. You know, no, that's perfectly fine. But no, he, and to some degree pulls it on himself, but he is power hungry and always has been.
Right,
So he's
right.
real chaotic neutral. His sister's chaotic good. Is in love with a paladin who is lawful good.
Here it comes.
When we started a long time ago, they were kind of the item, and then I had stopped playing for a little while, and he was extraordinarily heartbroken and destroyed by it, and started singing somebody else. And I came in to do a cameo appearance, and Jay decided to play that group and kind of set me up, unbeknownst to me. So, but they have since reconciled and have decided to give it another go at things.
Bill's
But,
gagging online.
but you know, effectively, you know, I really enjoy playing those two. They're really unique characters. He is actually an Earth Elementalist, which was the first Elementalist that I had ever played. I love the spell combinations of things it is that he's able to do. Some of the summons that he's able to do. He also has Rings of Wizardry, so he gains a lot of extra spells. And studies under one of the Circle of Eight, actually.
Yeah.
From Greyhawk itself. And pays a pretty penny to be able to do so.
Yep.
But in his quest for ultimate power, that's what he looks for.
Plus, he hates humans.
Yes. Plus, he is very much like a Ferengi from Star Trek, where he hates humans.
He hates humans. So we have to get back to this question on the Archer, and I know Brian had it out with Naz online, and Bill was like, "Stop." So
we didn't have
tell
that.
us,
We were having a discussion.
I know, but Bill, yeah, tell us the Archer abilities. How's that convert into 5e? Like an Archer class or something with missile pluses. How does that convert it over? And it was like a horde breaker or something.
You're talking about like the horde breaker and whatnot.
Yeah, yeah.
So I mean, the Archer can be. You can go with. There's the Ranger option you can do, or there's the Fighter option. There's more than that, because realistically, rogues can sneak attack with bows at a distance,
Oh,
but they only get one attack per round. That's
Okay.
the big thing there. So with the Ranger, you get it's pretty obvious. You get your standard Ranger stuff, but you get like the Horde Breaker, which is if you hit somebody as a bonus action, you can do an additional attack against somebody within 5 feet of that target. So at level 5, you'd have 3 attacks.
okay.
The other one, which I think is a little bit more fun and flavorful and not as obvious, is the Fighter Battlemaster, which you can do things like goading shot or a goading attack, where if you hit somebody, they got to make a certain save, and if they fail it, they have a disadvantage on attacking other targets other than you, on top of doing additional damage to them.
Very cool. Very, very cool.
And you get the additional attacks with the Fighter. You know, at level 5, you'd have 2 attacks. You could technically do it with a Bard using magical lore, or additional secrets or something like that. I forget the exact, but you can pilfer. What that does is allows the Bard to pilfer any 2 spells from any spell list. So they can get like access to level 5 paladin spells and level 5 ranger spells at like level 9.
Okay.
Which, knowing the spell structure, those level 5 spells are a lot stronger than the bard level 5 spells, especially because bards don't get offensive magic. They have a lot of support type stuff.
Well, Brian, all I can say is that you're definitely cementing Jay's and my thoughts that we would never do 5e because that would get abused like well.
All right, so I will say I have some guys that like the power gamey crunchy stuff, but those same guys also love playing with like disadvantage and that kind of stuff. So we did Tomb of Annihilation, which is a throwback to
Tomb of Horrors.
Tomb of Horrors.
Yeah.
Which I wasn't a big fan of because I don't like insta-kill traps. Yeah. And there were insta-kill traps that you had. There was no clue that they were there. Like the insta-kill trap where it was a skeletal T-Rex.
Annihilation in the mouth.
So, all right. But two of the guys played legitly. They went on to D&D Beyond, which is the 5e portal type thing that they have.
Yeah.
And I'll quiet down. I'm sorry, sweetheart. Brianna said, "Daddy, can you please quiet down?" She's giving me a head. And every time they lost a character, from the start of the game till the last character, they just clicked random on that and just went with whatever they got.
Wow.
So even though these are kind of power gaming guys, they can also have fun like that. So
that's cool. Very cool.
I know Mark's got to leave shortly, so let me do a quick announcement. We're at 483 followers going to 500, okay? We need 17 more. Once we get to that point, we will be, and here it is right here, okay? This is the one. We will be raffling this off for followers that night, whatever night we get to the 500th there's all, it's not a perfect condition one, but it has everything inside you want for it. Someone wrote the word up here, rat. And there's someone just called a little rat picture on it. I can't erase that. It's in pen, but sorry, guys. But you get the idea. This is the best reference there is for old school if you want Dragon Magazine and you want a book. It's got all the deities from the elves, the gnomes, the halflings, dwarves. It's got the neutral gem-colored dragons in it. It's got the archer class in it. It's got all sorts of cantrips. It's got all sorts of fun stuff in here. So we will be giving this away to celebrate our 500th follower, whenever that may be. That's irrespective of our Miniature Building Authority quarterly giveaway, which is coming up in March. That's as well. So just want to let you know on that. Mark, I know you got like 3 minutes before you got to roll. And what do you want to say in closing before you got to get off? And then Brian, I'll finish up.
Well, obviously I love the opportunity. Brian, I love the interaction with you as always.
Yeah.
You bust Jay's balls as much as I do. So
Extreme Beer close up. Yeah, we have. What is this one here? Pandemonium Ale, Pale Ale from Shorts. Another Shorts. Sorry.
No, it's okay. I'm really excited though for you guys being able to get back into it.
Yeah.
I know most of the stuff it is that you were doing was from a save the world kind of a perspective, but I think that you'll find obviously with Greyhawk it'll test some of your mettle with your players as well. That not everything is about saving the world. A lot of it is really a more politically based campaign. So
yeah, I granted I could have done Save the World outside of Greyhawk. Like I said, just Greyhawk. It seems to not Greyhawk. Forgotten Realms is just. It seems like it's very focused because there is such high power there that's what they focus on.
Yeah. Well, it's absolutely fantastic. I really hope that you enjoy that area. Obviously, we're always at your disposal if there's anything that we can do to help, question-wise or whatever. Be more than happy to.
I already told Jay he's supposed to tell you guys to review my god list and see if there's anybody I'm missing.
Yeah.
Okay.
And there are. I told him he's missing Mayheen.
I got it. I got them written down. I got some on the list. Like I said, I got to add.
Yeah, Merlin and Kellenen. I love those are the. Bill will do more for you, but there's a lot that we do that really it's custom. But
yeah, you have
I'll get Bill.
Wastry, Mayheen, Kalen, and Merlin.
Yeah.
The ones you told me to add.
You have to have Wastry. You're right near the whole marshes. I know Anna hates Wastry, but you gotta have Wastry. You're right there. Wastry's home base is literally 200 miles from where you're going to be, so you gotta have Wastry in that group. But So, Mark, if you got a bolt, that's fine, man.
Yep,
Thank
not
you.
a problem. I really appreciate the talk, the opportunity. Hope everybody else enjoyed it as well.
Yes.
And hopefully I'll see you guys on Thursday, but we shall see.
If not, Sunday night he'll be on. He's going to help. He's going to jointly host with me, and Bill will probably be on too. We're going to ask Brian a whole bunch of questions. So. Yep. All right, Mark, we'll talk to you
soon.
Other
Brian, not this Brian.
Yeah, Brian Blumklot. So let's get back to, now that Mark had to depart.
All right, before Bill, because I'm not sure if he's actually just being making fun of my previous beer talk show type deal thing that I did, the D&D and beer. This is a pale ale, 6.5% ABV from Shorts. It is lovely. I can't tell you what type of hops it is because I didn't look it up. You got to remember, I used to brew, I still brew on occasion. We probably brew like 4 or 5 times throughout the year, but it's not as much as the once a week we used to do. But yes, it is a very delicious pale ale.
So, well, I can't, after last night, I can't drink, man. I had 4 Moscow, like I told you, I had 4 Moscow mules, and I was toast. So I want to show everyone another thing and this is all on the Obsidian portal that Brian linked. He'll relink it again if need be. This is stuff he's done. These are all the deities he's done. This is his alignment chart where he gets special abilities. We talked about that as well. He made them very small abilities, which was cool, but he made them unique to what his campaign's going to be doing. So he's customized it already. This, my players, wait till you see this, and Mark's players, and Anna, and Ian. Take a look at this, okay? This is really extremely well done. Okay, explain this. Go ahead, Brian.
Oh, masterwork equipment. So he says this is really well done.
It is.
This
really
was done
well
with
done,
an Excel
man.
randomizer.
It's done.
I prefer low magic items. I prefer having something with, if you craft a masterwork item, it's got to have heritage. So the rules behind masterwork is, sweet dreams, gorgeous. Wait, bye-bye. Wait, good night.
Good night. Bye-bye.
So when it comes to masterwork items, there's a pedigree to them. You can't just go up to any masterwork craftsman. You have to have some renown. You don't always have to do a quest for them, but if you don't have some renown, you might have to do a quest. And so it's just kind of setting up, and then once you enter into I call it contract, with these masterwork crafters, they are your sole provision of masterwork goods. And they're very prideful, and they will not provision another piece of masterwork material if you get it from a different, let me rephrase that. Another masterwork crafter will not enter into contract with you unless you break that contract, which involves returning the masterwork good to the original crafter. And I go into detail about the different versions of masterwork. I don't just have a masterwork as a +1/+1. There's a price for just +1 to hit, a price for +1 to damage, for expanding crit range, a +1 to AC on weapons. Like if you want to make a defensive type weapon, if you have somebody who doesn't wear really heavy armor, but they want to have a defensive type dagger going on or something along those lines. Additionally, you got the armor only comes in 2 flavors at the moment, a +1 to AC and a +2 or a -2 or 3 reduction on physical damage that comes in. It's only physical damage, doesn't care if it's piercing, bludgeoning, or slashing. It's just physical damage is a reduction to that. And having the contract built out there, each masterwork crafter typically does more than 1 masterwork item.
Here we go. Boom.
Yeah. So I did this in Excel randomizer. I posted all the items in Excel and then assigned random values to them. And then with there, I created some names with a name generator and placed them into the towns were actually placed via a randomizer as well. So.
Well, and he's developed this whole area of Southern Keeland already for where the crafters are, and
if you're posting around on the website, it's underneath goods and services.
One more time.
If you're posting on the Obsidian portal, it's underneath the goods and services section.
which is under Wiki though, isn't it?
Yes,
It's under Wiki button, and then goods and services on his Obsidian.
The only thing I'm linking right now is the Wiki because it's the only thing that I have even minutely fleshed out.
And this is just the tip of the iceberg because this is all I could link right here in that page area. Was this part of it?
So I go on that same goods and services. It covers the level of goods that's available outside of the Master Craftsman, because there's some Master Craftsmen that are in some smaller areas, as well as the amount of spell services you can get outside, at a certain level of town.
Yeah, I just love the level of detail you're going. Before, I mean, you're a couple months out before you even starting to play, and you're putting up a massive amount of detail for your players to really absorb and to really flesh out the area and go, wow, this is cool. This is and that's what I like about it, man. And it's just like every DM's got their own style. I mean, Brian Blum, the other Brian, hey, there's Walt. Huh? Good to see you, Walt. The other Brian has said to us, I like your play style. It's tactical. And so I see because of the figures and all, we're a tactical play style. And Mark's is a little more different. And yours is, being a 5e is going to be different. Everyone's going to have a different game.
Well, so we are a physical play group. We do meet in person once a week. We are definitely a bit more Starsky and Hutch type gameplay, We're the buddy cops, but not quite always morally there, and reeling each other in. And there's a lot of non-game talk that goes on. And as I'm sitting here playing with my tacky stuff or painting minis,
it's okay, man. It's okay.
It will be a change. So even though we're a physical play group, we do, because we're a table of 8 players. 8 players plus me. Which is not the largest table I've ever DM'd. We don't want to get into.
Well, that's insane, man. I mean, and they're all.
I did a 15 player table for a little bit, right?
Man, that's a lot of.
That's what I get for being a public play GM.
Yeah, absolutely. But it's a very popular game. Now, I don't know if Bill knows this in this discussion on here. If Bill was on when last week when. Ian said he loved the Black Company, and he just Green Lantern and Black Company source book has some real cool stuff on Masterwork and Masterpiece gear. And I know Ian from Versetti's a big proponent of that too. So
too many what, Bill? Oh, 15 players? Yeah, I felt bad. It was like everybody got 2 turns.
Yeah.
Because it was like a 3.5 hour session. Everybody got 2
That is
turns.
way too many. That is absolutely way too
many. We
had,
I think, 3 sessions at 15, and then it dropped back down to like 12 or 13 for a little bit. But I was the only person that wanted GM at the comic book shop that we run it. And eventually I finally started to get some good people. So now I think we have 4 tables up and running that I orchestrate at the comic book shop.
No, one last question.
But they are steady tables, so it's not like people rotate.
Yeah, that's a lot. One last question for you on that. Do you still use your Fantasy Grounds?
Sorry, 1 second, Jay.
Yeah, no problem.
I'm talking through that. Okay, I'm sorry, I turned it down. Apparently I'm getting a little excited here. So.
We're almost done.
No, it's
There, okay. Ian, there you go, Ian. Another. I'm trying to give any other streamer D&D. Yep. You see, no. You see what you got next year? You got your nice VIP badge now. So there you go. So okay.
We do use. We moved to Roll20 for the Sunday night online games. When we do home games, like where weather's bad or something like that, we were using Fantasy Grounds. I canceled my subscription to that a while back. So we haven't had a game at home with D&D since I canceled that subscription. So I can't say for sure.
Oh, okay.
The home game.
Because of that cost.
I don't have the Ultimate Edition. I have the.
Right, so you didn't buy the Lifetime Edition.
No, I have the. I have the full edition, but I paid the subscription. That way, everybody else didn't have to have the full subscription for Fantasy Grounds. I'd probably use Fantasy Grounds again over Roll20 just because I'm a little bit more familiar with it from a DM perspective. I do use Roll20 when I play on Sunday night. So. Okay.
So it's always. That group is always going to meet in the gaming store, correct?
I mean, we do. We've started doing once a month at one of the guys' house.
Okay.
who's only like 2 miles from the gaming store, and we meet up a little earlier. We do the whole pizza and
Okay.
that kind of stuff there.
Okay.
I would imagine that's still going to continue. I know when we switch to D&D, I have one guy who's absolutely adamant he doesn't want to go back to D&D, so I'll probably be losing him. I'd like to get down to 5 players. 5 or 6 is my sweet spot.
Yeah, that's what we're
I
talking
can deal
about.
with 7. Because here's the thing. You have 7 players most of the time. You have somebody out each week, so you're dealing with 6 players. That's not a big deal.
So Brian, who can, he wanted to participate Sunday night, he couldn't. So Ian, who participated Sunday night, asking you about advantage.
What
Is it
let me see here.
overpowered? I think it is.
Advantage is a big swing. I don't give it in a lot of the situational stuff. My thought on advantage, a lot of times you have to blow some sort of expenditure to get it. I don't want you to just get it. I don't do the advantage for flanking. I do advantage if somebody's on the ground, that kind of stuff there. But I find it can be very overpowering. But I also really like it because it speeds up the game versus adding a whole bunch of numbers. So I prefer advantage and disadvantage versus getting a whole bunch of pluses and minuses.
Okay. So you prefer the 2 die roll over like a +4 from a flank attack, like they're stunned and stuff like the 1E2. That's
I mean it is a pretty big boost. I think somebody mapped it out and it was like a 60% if you have advantage and you have like a +2 on your whatever, you got like a 60% chance or something like that to succeed. It's pretty big.
It's huge. It's huge. It's
but like I said, it's more for the speed of the game. It really helps things flow.
Yeah, math wise, it never worked because like back in 1E, you had that monster, the tween, that would attach to your shadow or whatever, and then you always roll 2 dice all the time. But then anyone within 10 feet of you had to roll 2 dice and take what would be called a disadvantage. So I mean,
that's the thing. There's disadvantage as well. That's still the thing, and I think they're great concepts. They help speed things up.
So what do you, in closing, what are you looking for in your game overall? Are you just looking for a fun experience?
I'm just trying to get back to some of the basics of having fun. I mean, the campaigns I like the best because for the most part we've always ran module campaigns like out of a book
right
module and then we customize it. It's not like we stuck to it. Like I think the what was it? Storm King's Thunder. I tried to get my players into that and they didn't want anything into it and they wound up going hooking onto this little girl that wound up being a polymorph princess from the Shadowfell. That's actually on my Bugbears and Brews. The whole campaign is like you can watch the recaps of each of those. That's out there, and there some great moments came out of that, like the suicide bomber with the Elven Fizzletink's sticks of instant magic, which Elven Fizzletink is my mega crazy powerful sorcerer dude that's in the world. So it's gonna be kind of sad to see.
I just put that
bye to him, but he's crazy enough he can make it over the other world just fine. So yeah, just getting down to like some of the I absolutely love when D&D was going from D&D 4th edition to 5th edition. There was a playtest era called D&D Next.
Yeah.
It came out with a couple modules. Murder in Baldur's Gate is an absolutely fantastic module. It's levels 1 through 3. It's dealing with the ball spawn and the last of the ball spawn getting killed. Which, spoiler, is the hero from Baldur's Gate 1 and 2.
Yeah.
And all the ball spawns combining to, formally, officially bring ball back. So that was a really good one. There was Legacy of the Crystal Shard, which was a continuation of the Crystal Shard saga from Drizzt. And that was really cool because you got into playing with these gods that are worshipped, but they're savage. So it was kind of cool to see people try to help these gods that are known for their kind of evil outlook on life, but because they're these primal gods as well, they're worshipped and respected by the people. So that was a really fun one as well. But those weren't Save the World ones, and I really liked that, and I'd like to get back to more of getting away from Save the World ones.
Yeah.
What was that?
Small scale.
Yeah. Well, not even small scale, just having impact, and getting away from the mega dungeon. fifth edition has really become a lot of mega dungeon. We're running right now what's it called? The new Undermountain one. I forget what it's called.
Okay.
In our Sunday night game. So the one I'm playing, and it's fun, but it's a giant dungeon slog. And so luckily Aaron, he's one of my players. He's GMing it. He's very, very flavorful. And so we have a whole section in a city that he developed outside of that, which is doing well.
Well, that's good. He added on to it. So, do you think you will be doing some homebrew camp adventures as well in here? You're gonna make up some stuff.
Oh yeah, without a doubt.
Cool.
Which is why I said I don't even know if I'm going to start with U1 or if I have a small section of. I've always had this whole little small section built out for starter groups, just getting them into the idea that the world isn't revolved around them. So main thing is, they see the postings, they can choose which ones to follow up on, and then there's going to be, if they choose one posting, the other two postings are going to be taken up by other adventure groups.
Absolutely.
Which will either become eventually rivals or friends.
Good. Good. I mean, you got to throw in antithesis. They don't have to be bad guys against them, but you got to throw in, like, we have Pain at range at Winchester's Bulwark, which is all NPCs in the group, and we have the Fighters of the Light, right? And we have all sorts of other groups out there that are you got to have that. It makes the world feel more real instead of just you revolving around you. You're absolutely correct on that. I mean, that's an important aspect of the game. So before, because I know we're getting ready to wrap cool.
up.
Yeah.
I have plenty of beer. I can still keep on talking.
Yeah, we'll go to 8:30. We'll go to 8:30. Then we'll call it night.
So on the website, the next thing, if you're curious on following the progress, next thing I'm doing is going to be filling out the character creation steps. So I don't know how you handle character creation, but we always do standard array or point by. I don't like rolling for stats. I think rolling for stats, it causes too much.
I've gotten to the point where I trust my players.
It's not. I trust them. It's the fact that I don't
to
like
create their characters.
that you could have a fantastic roll, and the guy sitting next to you can have a shit roll, and no matter what, that guy's always going to be better than you. That's why I like standard array or point by.
And that's kind of like a computer generated one where you have so many points to give out. Is that For us, I mean, and Bill will tell you this. It's a sharp score, and he's on there, and his characters are not overpowered stat wise, and he plays what he wants to play, sets it up. I look at the characters real quick. I glance over them. There's certain classes that you gotta have special permission to do, and then it just gotta make sense, And so that's the way. I'm assuming Ian does the same thing.
Yeah.
But that's cool.
Personally, I prefer more of a everyday man, a slightly above everyday man heroes starting out. I don't like. I did one home game where it started out at the hero tier.
Got it.
And you start off with a 34 point, and it just was just way overweight, bloated, and it's just too much. I like starting out as your average Joe or just above your average Joe.
So I'm glad that, I was really happy to see that you decided to give Greyhawk a shot here. I know I really hounded you. But, I've been, Bill, me, Walt,
I got
Mark.
good resources.
We've been doing it since 1980. Mark, 1980.
Is that the rain, or are you watching something, babe? Wow, sorry.
It's raining out there?
Oh, it's pouring. If I can hear it through the
It's in
headphones.
Michigan. Ann Arbor, right? Well, give
Yeah.
away. I don't know your street, so don't worry. I won't give your address away. But we've been playing for so long at Greyhawk, we don't know anything else, and we're not going to go to anything else. And it's just I see an opportunity so we can have another reference point where we can discuss stuff. Getting back, Brian and I met each other in 2004 playing World of Warcraft. And with Jeremy, who's on Solios as well, and he's another one who's on. And so that's where we all met, and, we've kept in touch ever since we stopped playing. I don't remember what year we stopped playing, 2008, 2009?
I don't know. Yeah, because I came out and saw you. My wife and we came out.
That was 2012, wasn't it?
No.
11? My son was in
2009. That was
No, my son was born in 2010, and I had my son when you came out to see us.
Oh, sorry, it was 2010. That's right.
Yeah,
Shane was in a little itty bitty car seat.
He was okay.
Yes.
So, all
Because
right.
we got married in 2009. It was our 1 year anniversary.
Okay, cool.
So
My God.
Yeah,
that's
when we
been
came out and
meetings
saw you guys.
9 years ago. Wow.
But yeah, I'm planning on defining so I'm not allowing every race that's available in 5e. I'm not doing that. I am taking out.
Well, real quick, tell us the story of your one player who wants to play something that's not in 1E and what you're going to do.
Oh,
This is a good thing. This is good.
so if you're familiar with the 5e basic races, I am nixing Dragonborn and Tiefling. First off, I absolutely hate Dragonborn. I don't know why. Just make me so furious. And then Tieflings, they kind of make me feel like people want to just be the edgelord. So I'm still keeping those stats. Because, the Tiefling gets like a +2 charisma, a +1 int. You can still choose that and apply it to any races I'm doing for the people that just want those stats.
Okay.
But you don't get the additional subset stuff. I do got one guy, so the other races, so we're not getting Tiefling, we're not getting Dragonborn. I am allowing, I think I'm allowing Goliath J. I know I talked about transferring him to half ogre.
Yeah.
But he really.
We talked about it, and you got to do what you got to do for your players.
He really wants wants Goliath. So Goliath, I don't think is too far out there. I like him mechanically and roleplay wise, so I think I'm fine with that one.
Mm-hmm.
I transferred the Sea Elves to be Tritons, which I know you said there's Tritons as well. But this the area of Solidmore has a pretty big Sea Elf community, so I just transposed that to be Triton. That way, if somebody wanted to play Triton, they could. Tritons as well, they get very out of the realm of overpowered type situations. Mm-hmm. And then just because I really like them. You ready for it, Jay?
I don't even want to. Don't say anything. Like, don't say.
You know what I'm gonna say.
Do I really?
Yeah, we talked about it. Take a guess. You talked about it plenty of times. There's one other race I didn't mention. Minotaur.
Oh yeah. You're right. You told me. Bill's head just exploded.
I do not know why, but I love Minotaurs as player characters.
Well, hey, you're the DM on that, and that's cool. Give it a shot. And, there's a lot of cool plastic Minotaur figures out now, too. One of the previous sets had some nice ones. I know you're into painting.
I have no idea why I like Minotaur as character races.
Yeah, this is I think Walt's on too. So yeah, they had a Minotaur in Bill Islandfeld's campaign way back, and we won't go into that, but hey, that's cool. You can Minotaur is whatever you want to do. It's your campaign, and it may work. It may work for you. And
I think I did list one Minotaur as a master craftsman.
Yeah. So for us,
he makes scale mail.
For us, we are staying old school. We're going to stay. We're not going to change the races we do. I have NPCs that can be humanoids or whatever.
It's not like I have a whole lot of weird races. There's dwarf, halfling, gnome, the elf variety.
The elf variety. See, he's still learning Greyhawk, so that's okay.
What was that?
Sylvan elves, high elves, gray elves, valley elves,
high elves, dark elves.
Yeah, dark.
Half elves.
Half elves. All yeah.
Human. Then you have your two flavors. Dwarves are two flavors of halflings. Stout and Lightfoot.
So since this is in Keoland, I guarantee you that at some point they will run into some Winchesters, right, Bill? So it's in Southern Keo.
All right, you give me an info dump for Winchester, and I will put.
I will give you an info dump for
I'll put them on the
Winchester
wiki. I'll make
for your wiki. I will do that for you, and they're in Rushford. I'll give you that location, and Bill's gonna build. Yeah, the other continent from Dragonlance is run by Minotaurs. That's true, absolutely. So.
Oh, and I'm gonna go with. Looks like Anna's map has 598. So, I don't know if that's the current year, but that's what I'm going with because it's on our official map that Anna made.
So Brian, he put up some miniatures for Minotaurs on the Kickstarter there. Jeff did just now, so you may want to take a look at that link as well.
I will have to take a look at because Fat Dragon Games.
Delta Winchester, one sentence, yes. So here's.
You gotta remember, I have my 3D printer now. So
yes.
Fat Dragon Games has a Kickstarter coming out tomorrow. So
do you have anything near you within hand reach for your printer?
Right. What?
Do you have anything from within hand reach from your printer you printed?
Not D&D related.
Okay.
Well, actually, I have a whole box of it. Actually, I have this tile this little Paw Patrol badge. It's like I do have a whole box. Actually, I lied.
All right.
Show off like one of my favorite.
I'm going to show you some stuff that Brian's doing with his 3D printer real quick here, and then we'll do some announcements and then call it a night, guys. For this.
So here's my current room I have set up with what I have painted.
That's all 3D printed.
Let me
Nice
see
job,
here.
man. Ian, you may want to look into that too, man.
Yeah, this is with the Creality Ender 3, which is a $200 3D printer. It's absolutely fantastic. It's, I guess, the new standard, and that's Boeing like that because it's like that. But these all interlock at the bottom there. This is the Fat Dragon Games clips, their Dragon Lock system. Yeah.
I mean, it looks like Master Maze, you know, and it's a lot lighter and it's, you know, it's a lot less expensive.
This is my favorite piece that I printed.
Yep. Well,
it's a wall, but it's a secret door.
Ah, see, all printed on, and that. How much is the cost of that material right there? Like $1? Not
I
even
think
that.
40 tiles or so off of a $20 roll of filament.
And Brian enjoys painting too, so guys, he's. Really,
I have an airbrush, dude.
Yeah.
That room that I pinned down or put down there, that took me about 2 hours, maybe.
That's excellent. So for us old school guys, Bill's. Yeah, I love that one. I love the recessed one. That is awesome. That's awesome on the 3D printer.
I also have just separate walls if I wanted to keep on going a little too high there.
That's good, and they all interlock.
Yep.
And for us, it doesn't make sense now at this point to do a 3D printer. Maybe for figures, maybe for some like inside
I don't have my
of terrain.
goblin that I printed up here.
Yeah, he's done some.
Downstairs.
Brian's doing some great stuff with it, and it's very economical for him. And it makes sense for like the next generation. No, he does not have an Instagram. Brian's old school. He has a Twitter.
I do unfortunately have a Twitter.
Yeah, he has a Twitter. He does not have an Instagram. Jeff is saying you should have it. And my God, guys. All right, so Jeff and Bill and Brian are all on. We should have a crafting show, guys, for all three of us on here. We should have a crafting show, Bill. How about once every 6 months, Bill? And we should do it, and we should all talk about all the stuff we're making and all the stuff we're doing for our campaign and how we're using it in our campaign. It would be a great idea. So I'm going to work on that. I'm going to work on our Bill, the Master Crafter, and get Brian in and get Jeff in, and we should have a big show about crafting. And we don't have to do it every often. Yeah, I mean, look at that. That is so cool, man.
Right. So I just put in 2 clips.
Yep.
I could go right there. That's now a piece, and then I can take this wall.
Yeah.
Go right there. It's now.
Yeah. Look at that.
That's locked.
So I promise.
Because where I play at the comic book shop, I can build these at home, transport them to the comic book shop,
And it's light. I can't take my Dwarven Forge anywhere because I'm worried something's going to happen to it, or it's too heavy. I can't take that to a convention. That stuff you can take to a convention. You know?
This is super duper light.
Yeah, absolutely.
I haven't printed anything lately because I have the room size I showed you. I have another 2 of those full.
Right.
That I gotta paint up, and I don't want to get too far behind.
Right. So you got a lot of work to do. If he's going to start playing in May or June, he has a lot of work to do on painting figures and painting stuff like that. But
and I got to buy cavern tiles. So yeah, if anybody wants to buy me the STL files for cavern files, I joke around with my players like that. Hey,
well, if you were on streaming and you got cheers, I'd let you take that money. But you know.
I'm rolling dice. I'm just rolling dice. I don't know what you think that is.
So guys, thanks a lot. Let's do some announcements here. This is a great a ton of information on the show. I know it was a short one. Once again, we're at 483 followers. We want to get to 500, and we'll be giving this away. Random roll. Anyone who's on follower that at 11 o'clock at night on our show on a Thursday night. Okay, we'll be giving this away. We won't do it on a Sunday night show. We're gonna do it on a Thursday night show. Okay, we'll give away Best of the Dragon. It's got a little writing up here, but who cares? Great reference. Okay, I'll be giving this away. I'll mail it out to whoever wins. Thursday night, we start a brand new adventure back to the battle site with the adventure group, The Reborn. They're 8th and 9th level. And we're looking forward to doing that. Get some higher level adventuring going. The maps are up right here. Some of this stuff I'll be posting all my ads like I normally do on Facebook and Discord and a little Twitter here. Here's the maps up. It's already up. Winchester's Bullock I had to take down, but the The Bronze Dragon Inn is up in the corner, so we still have the inn for reference points. This adventure will be taking place starting in Winchester's Bulwark. It's just there was not enough room. I needed more room finally. And then Sunday night, huge. I cannot wait. I mean, it's almost here. I've been sitting on these for a month. The new Order of Ulek heraldry beyond just the shield you see here. It is unbelievable stuff that Brian Blumklotz has done. He's going to come on. He's going to discuss the history of heraldry, how heraldry works into Greyhawk, the rules for a heraldic code, and then he's going to show we're going to show the stuff he's done for Greyhawk that's his own works. Then we'll go in and show all of our new heraldry and discuss them. He's working on a collar chain for our order as well. And then we have one special super surprise at the end of the night for our campaign as well. So, yes, Brian.
So, if you're wrapped up, I want to show one other quick cool
Go
thing.
for it, show it.
All right, so Bill was kind of right. So I do a primer airbrush, and then I do a base coat airbrush, followed by, if you can kind of see here, I'll zoom in, there's highlight bricks, and that's actually the longest part. There's these little brown guys and black guys on there.
You do them by hand?
Yes, I do those by hand.
Okay.
Which is why it takes like 2.5 hours or so to do what I did. And then I do a wash with airbrush, which actually does work. It's a little bit of a pain in the butt to get it the right consistency, but in the end it goes much quicker, followed by a dry brush. But this piece right here, the stairs, super awesome, right? Everybody likes stairs. But here's the thing, you're like fighting, your guy just keeps on falling down.
Right.
Guess what? Get a stair adapter.
I noticed that because I was watching, one of our new.
That's actually a pretty good paint job too.
It's not focusing.
Yeah.
It's not focusing. With that, but I was watching Nightheart Gaming the other night, and they were complaining that they couldn't put any figures on the steps because they would fall down the steps. So they were putting halflings on the steps, and I understand that, and that's a great thing to have. So we will work on that. I know Bill said no in chat, but between the three of yous, I think we can get a good one offer. We'll call it the crafting of Greyhawk or something, and we'll just talk. And just like this show, we'll just BS about stuff, about all the crafting stuff you guys have done. And I think all of you together, the three of you, would have a great show together. It would be fantastic. Because, Jeff does Mark's campaign, Bill does my campaign, and you do your own campaign. And I think that just for all of us putting it together, that would be a great idea down the road. So I'll see everyone Thursday night, right? See you Thursday night, hop on. Does anyone else, like I said, have any last questions before we call it an evening? I know it's a little past 8:30 here. I really appreciate Brian coming on and showing what he's doing for his new campaign in Greyhawk. I'm excited, and his crafting stuff. And
don't worry, Bill, I'll break in.
Will you beat him up, Brian? Will you beat him up? He's shy. You tell him he's not shy on the Thursday night, though, is he? So he's shy. Looking forward to Thursday evening. We're gonna have fun with that, and we got a full week. Thursday, Sunday night, Brian Blumklotz with heraldry. Right into Monday, Siege of Bordrin's Watch finale, finally, with Mark's group. So we got stuff coming Thursday, Sunday, Monday, right in next week. So we got three new cool shows coming up, and I'm gonna close it out with an exit screen back to our May 23rd event, March.
Thanks for having me.
All right, Brian. Thanks. March 23rd event, cranking it out. 16-hour mega stream. Thank you all for coming on. See you in a couple nights. Just remember, doesn't matter what edition, as long as it's Greyhawk. Right, Brian? See ya.